Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I have a new bag that I want to show you today. It's from Parker on the Porch. It is the Clutch Bag 2.0 front zip, and this is what it is. It has a zipper in the front and not on the top. That's what that means. And it's completely lined. Let's see if you can get in there and see it. It's completely lined. There's no raw edges. I made mine out of Atlas. I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a minute. Of course, I live in Georgia, as you can tell. So I got Southeast Georgia down here. This is my map. This is where I live at. Cute little Georgia Bulldog, Georgia, GA and a thing. These are also from Parker on the Porch. So let's head back to the counter and go over the supplies that we need. Alright guys, I wanted to give you an up close look at this bag. Look how neat it is. It has faux vinyl or leather on the bottom and on the back. Has sparkle, I think it's canvas sparkle from My Punk Embroidery, and I also put that on the top. And it has Georgia Bulldog camo in there, completely lined. There's no raw edges. It's all covered. This is a really neat bag from Parker on the Porch. So what you need to make this bag is, they have different sizes. 5x7, 6x10. I think they have like an 8x8 version. I'm not quite sure on that. But let's do the 6x10 version today. I have my 6x10 hoop. I have it hooped with one sheet of tearaway stabilizer. You're going to need a zipper. It doesn't matter. See, I'll bring this bag up. It doesn't matter how long your zipper is, as long as it's longer than your bag. Because you don't want to hit your metal pull. You don't want to hit that. Or this little metal part down here, you don't want to hit that. So you want to make sure it's well out of the way of your needle going up and down. So let's see. This bag is 8.5 inches wide. So probably like a 10 or 11 inch zipper, or even a 12-inch zipper. Mine happens to be 22 inches. I know it's crazy long, but I buy them in bulk as big as my biggest hoop. So like if I was making one this way, it would be plenty big enough. Okay, to do the outside of the bag, this piece up here I'm going to do in some vinyl as well. So here's my piece for up here. I'm going to use this pretty coral color. I think it's really pretty. And then you need a piece for down here where the black is. And that's going to be my piece. This right here is I'm going to put where the map is in this piece. And on this piece I have ironed on the back of it some SF 101. And it's like a piece of cotton that has fusible on it, so it's kind of thick. Gives it lots of structure and body. And I've also folded it over and ironed it 1/2 inch, because you need a clean edge to go up against your zipper. Okay, so I've ironed in. For some reason my zoom's not working. There we go. So I've pressed it over so it's straight and clean across the top. Then you're going to need a piece for the back of the bag, and I'm just going to use another piece of this coral vinyl, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's really pretty in coral. Isn't that beautiful? And then for the lining, you pretty much need the same size pieces. This piece is for up here for the lining. This piece is right here for the lining. And again, I didn't put stabilizer on this piece, but I did fold it down. and pressed it for the lining. And then you'll need a piece big enough to go over the whole bag for the lining back. Also, I took a piece of this fabric here, and I did a 2.5 inch piece, and I folded it in half, and then I folded the sides into the middle, and then I run 2 stitch lines down each side, one down each side. And then I'm going to use this D swivel lobster clasp to put a little clip on the side of the bag like this. So where I have all these dangles right here, I would just have a little clip coming off the side of it. So you could actually clip something on there, or clip it on your pocketbook, or, you know, if you're putting makeup in this for an overnight bag, or your toothbrush or whatever, you could use it, clip it on the inside of your suitcase, or, you know, something like that. Alright, so I think that's all the supplies that we need. Let's look and see. Yeah, I believe it is. So let's head to the machine and get started. Alright, so the first step is stitching the placement lines right on the tearaway stabilizer. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, on our stabilizer, it has sewn 3 lines right here. This is the placement lines for your zipper. So I'm going to take my Frixion pen or whatever, and I'm going to mark on either side of the middle line. That's going to give me a reference point when I'm on the back to know which line I'm lining my lining fabric up with. So take your zipper, and I have my zipper pull in my left hand. If you want your zipper to zip this way, that's how you want it. If you want it to zip this way, hold your zipper pull in your left hand. I got it in my right hand now. Hold it in your left hand if you want it to zip this way. So that's how I want mine to zip. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to line the middle of my zipper, this piece right here, where your zipper teeth are at, with the middle line in between these other 2 lines. If you can see, it's exactly perfect. In between this line and this line is how wide your zipper is. So I'm going to line it up right there, and I'm going to tape it down outside of my placement lines. I'm going to come down here, make sure everything's lined up. Again, I'm just going to give a visual to make sure that my center zipper is on the center zipper line, and I'm going to tape it down outside of the placement line. And just to stop it from sliding here, I'm going to add a little piece of tape on both sides in the middle, just so it don't move. So let's head back to the machine, and it's going to sew down this side and this side, attaching our zipper to the stabilizer. Alright, so here we are at the machine. We're going to sew down both sides of this zipper. Alright, so the next thing that's going to stitch out is this piece that we put SF101 on the back, and we folded it down at the top to make it straight. We're going to lay this down, making sure we're up against the zipper, making sure that we cover up all the placement lines of the bag. So we're going to do it like that. And we're going to run this stitch. I have that fold right up to the zipper teeth. And now you need the smaller piece to go on the top, and because this is vinyl and it doesn't fray, it doesn't need a fold, so you can just lay this right up against the zipper teeth just like this and run this next step. Okay, so now it's going to do the placement stitch for your vinyl on the bottom. So now lay your piece of vinyl down, covering all your placement lines. Just like that. Alright, let's head to the counter because we have to trim this little bit right here. Okay guys, so what we're going to do is just across this top here, we're going to cut pretty close to our stitch line. Cut this out. Making sure not to cut the piece of fabric that's under it, and being really careful not to cut any of your stitches that you just put. You have to go back and clean up a little bit. Just go back in there. Cut a little bit from this way. There we go. Let's see. So what I did was I trimmed this centerpiece off of the bottom right here. I stitched it up close to, I trimmed it close to the stitch line right there, all the way from here all the way down to the other side here. That's the only piece I trimmed. Everything else I left the same. So let's head back to the machine. Okay, the next thing that's going to stitch out is like a blanket stitch. It's going to come over and catch this. And it's going to be a decorative stitch that's going to be behind the satin stitch. You can omit this if you don't want it. I think it's pretty, so I'm going to sew it on. See how pretty that is? Looks like real stitching. So now I'm going to do the satin stitch. Okay, so do you remember the red line that we marked a while ago from the front of our hoop before we put any of this down? When I had the zipper, I made this little red mark. This is the mark, the line that we want to line the lining fabric up to. So the piece of fabric that we have that has the folded over piece so that it's straight, that's what we're going to do. We're going to line this up just under that line, and then I'm going to tape it down on both sides. This is the under part of our hoop, the back of our hoop, so it's not just going to stay on. You have to tape it down. Okay? While I'm here, so we don't have to come back to the counter in a second, I'm going to go ahead and take the other piece for up here. This is the fold. These are the raw edges. So I'm going to put the fold piece right up to it, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to give it a peek and make sure I've got that end covered and that end covered. So that's how it's going to look, and then we're going to tape it down as well. And I'm going to put a little piece here in the middle. Okay, so this is what the back of our hoop looks like right now. So let's head to the machine, and we're going to stitch this piece down, and then we're going to stitch this piece down. I don't know why my camera wasn't recording, I'm sorry, but I've sewed the bottom lining piece on, and now I'm going to sew the top lining piece on. Two more steps to go. Let's head back to the counter. Alright, so this is what the back of our hoop looks like. We have both of these are stitched down to the hoop. We have both our lining pieces down. I'm going to remove this piece of tape that got sewed in. It's okay if you sew over this masking tape. You just need to pull it out from under the stitches. It should just pull right on out. Kind of perforates it. So now we're going to flip it over to the front of our hoop. And it's very important at this step right now that you unzip your zipper. There's a little thread that you need to clip right there. And then you can just unzip your zipper to about right there. Okay, see my zipper pulls right here. Okay, and then this piece that we made that I just dropped on the floor, okay, this piece that we made, I'm going to take it and put it on the bag. You can put it anywhere, okay, but what you have to remember is we're going to trim around this bag. So anything that you want to keep, you need to put on the inside. So you need to put this piece towards the inside, and then when we flip it out, it's going to flip out like this. So I think I'm going to put it right there under the zipper, or maybe above the zipper. You can put it anywhere you want. I think I'll put it under the zipper. Okay, I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to get a piece of tape and tape this end down so that everything's good and flat when the needle goes over it and it's not going to catch. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our piece that we have cut for our backing, and we're going to lay it right side down, making sure we've covered all the placement lines over the whole thing. Everything's good and flat. And I like to take this piece down just so it don't move and catch as your machine goes around. and it's going to go around several times, and it's going to make 2 different lines as it goes around. So let's head back to the machine. Okay, so here we are sewing the back on. It's making 2 lines. It's going to go around 3 or 4 times. Make sure everything's good and tacked down. Let's see if I can zoom in for you. See, it's doing 2 different lines very close together. Alright, so this is what the front of your hoop looks like. It's stitched around 2 times all the way around. It does 2 different lines pretty close to each other. That's making sure your bag stays very secure and will not come undone. None of your layers are going to pull out. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to flip the back of our hoop over. We're going to take our lining piece now, and we're going to lay the lining piece right side down, making sure that we cover up all the placement lines and the whole bag is covered up. And then I'm going to tape it down, and this will be the last sewing step. Okay, so let's head back to the machine. Alright, well, let's sew our last lining piece on. And we're finished sewing. Let's head to the counter and flip it. Alright, so here we are back at the counter. This is what your hoop looks like. This is what the back looks like. And basically what it did was it sewed from here all the way around and left us a hole here at the bottom to turn the bag from, inside outwards. So now we can remove all of our tape and free it from the hoop. Alright, well, you can take your regular scissors, or you can take your pinking shears. Whatever you have you can use, but you want a good pair of sharp scissors or either a good pair of sharp pinking shears. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this up at an angle just to the stitching line on both sides. Okay? Now I'm going to remove all this stabilizer. Just tear it right away. Okay? I'm going to take my pinking shears and I'm going to go all the way around, leaving about 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. You don't want to cut it very close, but you don't want a whole big seam allowance in there neither. So I've cut it about 1/4 of an inch. Let's see, can you see that? Yeah. I'm cutting through the zipper. I'm cutting through that little piece that I put in there. That's why you want a strong pair of scissors, because you're cutting through so many layers. Okay, so we can get rid of all this. And basically there's your bag. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is going to take my Fabri-Tac glue and my Wonder Clips, and we're going to close up this hole. So we're just going to fold this in and this in, make them meet. This is going to be on the inside bottom of the bag, so if it's not quite perfect, nobody's really going to see, but you want to try to get it just as close as you can. I kind of go by the stitch line that's already there, like this. And then drop it on the floor. Then I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac glue and I'm going to glue this part shut. I'll put a little bit of bead of glue on the seam, on the stitches that's there. It's clear, so it's kind of hard to see. And then just fold that in and pinch it. And any part that's left, you can just take an extra piece that you just cut off and just clip it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to do the same thing, put a little bit of glue, hold it in, smush it, anything extra that comes out, wipe off. This glue dries really quickly, like 3 minutes or so, and we'll be ready to flip it again. So while that's drying, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over to our zipper piece, and we're going to pull it open. If you didn't open your zipper, your bag wouldn't open now. And all of this tearaway stabilizer needs to come out. So you need to pull all of this out. Okay, so I'm going to wait about 3 minutes and let this dry, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, here we are, we're back. It's been 3 minutes, so I'm going to remove my clips. And it's all closed, sealed, dry. It's not hard. So now we're going to turn the bag right side out. Make sure you poke out your corners good. I'm going to use this chopstick to kind of help me get in there and make them good and crisp. And then we're going to do this one. That one turned really good. And then this one. Look at this really cute bag. How adorable is that? It's really cute. You could do a monogram on the front here. That would be really pretty. You could do, say the person you were giving this to wanted a butterfly, or like be kind, or anything on here. Any embroidery design would be beautiful on here. I don't know if you can see these. Looks like stitches. I think it's very pretty. Looks like stitches. Yes. So this is the 6x10 version of the Parker on the Porch Clutch 2.0 bag. Let me give you a comparison. This one is the 5x7 size of the Clutch 2.0 from Parker on the Porch. I did use a Starburst bag. I ironed on fusible vinyl on it and then used SF101 on the inside. These are the front zip, Clutch 2.0 front zip. Okay, this is a Clutch 2.0 top zip. See, the zipper is on the top up here instead of on the front like these. See, the zippers across the front on this one and across the top on this one. So these are the difference in sizes. It's significantly larger than the 5x7 size. So I can't wait to see what you guys make with this. Please post comments showing me what you make. I love this coral color. I get my vinyl from My Punk Embroidery. I will put a link in the description box below. Everything is completely lined. I love Parker on the Porch. I think this bag comes in 3 different sizes, the 5x7, the 6x10, and I think it's 7x12 maybe, or I'm not really sure what size is the largest one, but it gets larger than this. The hoop size, the biggest hoop size I have is a 6x10, so that's the only size I can do. Isn't that adorable? I think a pretty butterfly or, you know, anything on there, monogram, would be beautiful on that. Again, this is from Parker on the Porch. If you like this video, please subscribe so it helps me continue to come to you. Have a great day.